What's up guys, MikeCoco back here bringing you guys a tutorial on how to farm Ascended gear. Now if you watch my last video on how to farm Judgement gear, you should have around 4 sets of Judgement armor, so that's the helmet, the armor, the gloves, and the boots. And you'll need those sets of Judgement in order to do this tutorial. So to farm Ascended gear you will need to go to the very high tower floors, and the mobs there hit really hard. And without at least some sort of Judgement on your tanks, then you won't survive basically the first round. And the first round is very vital in this tutorial. Now, in this tutorial, I find that having a 4-line tank is much more beneficial than having a 3-line tank, because that way the damage is spread across 4 of your heroes rather than 3. And as you can see, my heroes don't have the best armor. They're still using Savior, Judgement, and a little bit of Ascended. And the attack power is not that great either. They're averaging around 3k to 4k. So this tutorial is fully doable at lower levels if you don't have that kind of gear yet. So basically what it involves is using your friend's assists and your friend's heroes as tanks. Now, they're basically acting as meat shields, and it may seem a little bit selfish, but the advantage to this tactic is that if they die, then you won't lose your own hero, so you won't have to pay gold or bandages, and that way you lessen the chance of basically causing your whole team to die. Because usually if your team gets hit and they don't have enough armor, then they'll slowly penetrate through your defenses, because the armor is just not enough to keep up with the attacks. Because as you can see, my heroes are only hitting like 1k even with their special attacks, so the defense on these guys is really high, and they hit really hard too. So the strategy to this guide is basically you want to wait for the moquettes to come out, and you want to target the moquettes as soon as they come out. And this is because the moquettes, similar to the Judgement gear tutorial, carry Ascended chests, and if you basically kill them, they have a chance at dropping these Ascended chests. And it's basically the same strategy as the Judgement gear tutorial. These moquettes also drop moquette chests, and these aren't as particularly as useful, but they do drop. And if you notice that if you get the first turn and you get the first attack on the mobs, then the monkey or the moquette will always come up after your turn ends. And likewise, if the mobs get the first hit and the first attack, then the moquettes will appear after you hit the mobs. So basically the monkeys will always appear after your turn ends. So that's very crucial, because it's much more advantageous if you start off with the first turn, because that way the moquettes appear quicker and you receive less damage. Now after you kill the moquettes, you want to retreat immediately, because even with Judge gear on your tanks, you probably won't survive any of the mobs. So you want to retreat as soon as you get that Ascended chest, and that's pretty much the only way to farm Ascended right now for basically anyone who's running Judgement gear or can't handle floor 70 mobs. And there's also a possibility that the mobs drop Ascended gear. I believe I've got rank C Ascended gloves, I think, from the mobs, but the drop rate from mobs for Ascended gear is much lower, and it's far more beneficial if you just target the moquette and get the Ascended chest and just retreat right after. That way you lose less heroes and you have a guaranteed chance at getting a chest, because the mobs usually drop Savior and Judgement, and so the Ascended gear drop rate is not that great. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial. You just want to get your friends heroes and put them in the front line along with your main, because your main doesn't require bandages or gold if they die for healing. And just let them take the hits, survive that first round. It's a little bit worse if they have the first hit on you, but if you survive that first round, then everything is all good, because you just kill that moquette, get that chest, and you just retreat. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Peace.
Cha!